Hi guys, welcome to another exciting episode. My name is Triza K, alongside the one and only
Judith Semera.
And we have an amazing guest that I'm going to introduce in just a short while. But you're welcome to Thick and Slim. I hope you've subscribed to our channel and you're sharing as much as you can. As we mentioned that we're going to be having different topics, have different speakers come on board so that we can explore this thing called life. Because that is what Thick and Slim is all about. Lifestyle, everything lifestyle. So yeah, you're welcome to another episode of A Thick and Slim. So today, guys, oh my gosh, have an amazing guest that I met how many months ago? March, Feb, Jan, December. 4 months ago when I joined a new company. She is an amazing lady. I'm not gonna toot her horn yet. I'll let her do the intro herself. Please, Madam Lady in Red.
No pressure.
No pressure, but pressure.
Mago Ramla is the name.
Yeah.
What can I say? Mother of two amazing angels.
Oh.
And in love with myself.
Oh, love it.
Myself.
Love it.
And it's been a while, but I think as women, we need to get to a stage where you can actually sit back and be like,
tissue.
Yeah. She is in love with herself.
Yeah, in love with myself.
I'm
loving it. I'm really, really loving it.
Thank you. So yeah, sit back. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be dope. And today, drum roll. I feel like this needs to have like a drum roll. So today we want to talk about a very, 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 very interesting topic that I felt that it is about time. I'm at a stage in my life where I am this close to hitting the third floor. But before I hit the third floor, I wanted to look back and see, some of the mistakes that we actually make when we're in our 20s. And, this could be something that could actually help somebody who's out there. And you're in your 20s or you're about to get into your 20s and you have no idea how things are going to turn out. I think it would be good for you to know what to expect now that you're hitting the second floor, or you're in the second floor, or you're in the middle of second floor, and you want to make sure that for the better part.
You're on the edge.
Yeah, you like the second phase of the second floor, the two of us that we don't. Like third floor is like, come baby, come baby, come baby, come. So
and
just
you're
before,
like, when did we get
here? So we felt like those are some of the things that we want to talk about, and I think it's a very interesting topic. And we wrote down. Usually we write down some of the pointers and the notes so that we really get into it. And looking back at my 20s, I think one of the things that I feel that mistakes that people in their 20s do, having been and still being in it, is that we don't know what we're doing. And it's okay, by the way. It's okay. There are people who find themselves in their 30s. There are people who find themselves in their 40s, in their 50s. But it's also a bit of a mistake, because if you're in your 20s and you still don't know what you're doing, you might lose out on so much. Yes. Basically, when you don't know what you're doing, it's very easy for you to lose out on a lot. Yes. So by the time you're getting into your 20s, you need to get a sense of direction into where you want or you see your life going. And it's good to explore. It's good to explore, especially in the beginning part of your 20s, in terms of career, in terms of relationships, in terms of, finances, basically. So, and if you're not very well grounded, personally, in my first years of my 20s, I kind of knew what I wanted, but I lost out on so much because I didn't invest time and work into it. And I'm not saying that, but I didn't put in effort. And because of that, I lost a couple of opportunities because I was thinking, I have my whole life ahead of me. By the time, I'll come back to it like at 26, 27. But by the time you're 27, the world has changed. It's a digital era. There are so many things that have popped up, and relationships that could have helped you become something bigger than what you would have been, you let go of them and now you have to now start again.
Chooser.
So
Yeah.
many talented people that are now for the same thing that you
Thank you.
are.
The competition has
And
become.
they caught the bull by the
Thank you.
horns, and for them they took
They
chances
run
of
with it.
opportunities.
They run with it.
So you're not on the same playing
Definitely,
field.
definitely.
But I think maybe one of the best lessons to learn at whatever stage you do learning is there's always time. In a bad way, yes, it's two-sided. Time is not on our side, but there's always time for you to wake up and want to do better and actually do better.
Yeah.
Make sure that tomorrow is not as bad as it could be today if you didn't put yourself in check. There's so many things we're doing wrong that if we just sat down, maybe just a story of how you spend your personal time.
Yes.
Thank you.
You know, you leave work, and it's not a bad thing that if I leave work, I want to get home and put on something that's going to help me relax. So you end up watching your Ratchet TV, Real Housewives, or ABC. But again, it helps if you can put on a YouTube channel that is in line with where you want to go in life. What am I trying to work on? How to build my personality, how to stand out in a crowd. So there's videos that are going to help you do that. So if you're more targeted and more aligned with where you want to go and how you can get there, it helps. It helps. And as women, sometimes because we're young, we think, man, we have time. Or even if I don't have time, I'll get a man who I'll get married to.
A rich man.
If he's rich,
man.
life will be settled.
Kawa.
What we don't know is, what if you don't?
What if you don't?
And it's all on you. Then what do you do?
That's true.
Because we have a number of women now who you're in your late 30s or you're in your early 40s. You're not married or you have kids. But ideally, we all have the same vision. Have kids, build ourselves, you know, have this picture perfect family and then have vacations. I mean, we all have those pictures, but then it starts from us.
Yeah, that's
us,
very
and
true.
the decisions we make at an early stage.
Yeah.
How those have a rippling effect into what stage in life you get to.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Chooser,
very deep.
something that I wanted to mention is when I got done with campus, I felt like my life had just begun. I felt like it was time to have the fun. You guys,
Time of my life.
Time of my life. I didn't want to hear about marriage.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I felt like it's now time to live the life, because then school was throughout, it was very strict. You had someone watching over you. You had someone who will come look out for you. But now you're in your own space and you're trying to figure out yourself.
Yeah.
And then for me, the first thing was, my life has just begun. It's time to wear the latest clothes. It's time to look my best. And then there are all these other things you're losing out on. There's your career and all those other things.
True.
But just like you said, there's always time. The moment you realize, okay, this is where I need to be, and you go on with it and work towards it, then you're doing well.
Then you're doing well. I think I love what I'm hearing, and I think that someone out there actually needs it. The second thing that I felt that women and also men, basically people in their 20s that make, is staying in the wrong relationships for too long. Basically people in all age groups, they tend to, stay in toxic marriages and what. But in your 20s, you should not be in a wrong relationship for too long. You are at the prime of your life. You are at a point whereby you can make a switch and still make a very, very big, make the biggest impact of your life. But when people are in their 20s, and me inclusive, I have done it, been there, done that. That's why I'm able to talk about it. Being in a wrong relationship for whatsoever reasons. And there's a time we were having an episode and we were talking about how people see red flags and then they ignore the red flags, and the red flags become pink flags, and the pink flags eventually become white flags. And that is something that I feel so many people, and it happens a lot. In your 20s, you're in campus, what are you doing in a serious relationship in the first place?
And
Like you don't even know the direction your career is taking. You don't even know.
In life generally.
You haven't even discovered yourself as a person. What do you like? First of all, remember when you're in campus, why you're there is because your parents are taking you to school. You need to finish school.
It's still part of the study process.
It's still part of the study process. And what you're doing in campus may not even be what you're going to do in life. So you're still discovering yourself. Being in a serious relationship in campus, if I could go back, I would not do it. I tried at some point, I think in my second semester of my first year, I got into a very serious relationship. And if I could go back, I would change it because I felt like I really, really wasted, first of all, my time, my energy. And also I didn't do the best that I could have done in that particular period of time. And I got into a bit of drama. I think if my parents are going to watch this episode, they'll be like, wait, what?
So much in line with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I started my first relationship or serious relationship in my S3.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it. I'll just be frank about that.
Yeah.
But I had so many expectations of this young man
Yeah.
that even as it grew and this was a first relationship each, and I had so much expected out of him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't know where his mindset was at that time because we never talked about those things.
Yeah.
It was holding hands, where we go on a date and all that stuff. But then he had to travel for university and I stayed in Uganda. And again, I was expecting so much because in my head, I'd pictured a perfect. So we started dating early, high school sweetheart. All these nonsensical movies that we watch on Disney that lie to you. High school sweetheart gets
Telemundo.
Nonsense. Not nonsense, but
Not for everyone.
It is. It doesn't work for everyone.
Nonsense because it sets you up for failure to some degree, but it's our fault. So after we finished high school, he goes, I think in our Essex vacation, he started schooling, where he went. And again, in my head, marriage, I had built this fantasy.
I need that function.
I had met his family, so I was on the inside and stuff. But again, issue was, this was a young guy who was the same age as I. And
He's
feel
still
so bad
discovering
now.
himself.
I feel so bad now because now I know better.
Yeah.
Because now I can be like, my God, what was I doing? Expecting so much out of someone who was my own age.
Yeah.
It turns out different. But anyway, so he went to study out and again, expectations, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But my life almost came to a standstill because it did not work out with this guy. I lost myself. I'd lost my identity because almost everywhere I went to was referred to as so-and-so's girlfriend. And I had built...
And that was your identity.
My thing was maybe, and I don't put it on him, I built my own narrative around who I was to him. And he was a nice guy. I won't take it away. He was a nice guy, but we were so young.
I know.
We were so young. So he went and
That's
probably he was away for a number of years. He would come home once in a while. So he started dating someone who was there in proximity.
Yeah,
So it was different.
Yeah.
But when we broke up, my God, life came to a standstill. And yet afterwards, you sit back and you're like, both of us would have done so much with our lives if we had not put so much unnecessary
pressure
on what a young relationship should be. If you're 13, if you're 14, 15, 16, what the heck
are you doing?
Committing yourself
to someone.
Where, of course,
and it's crazy because
let them disturb you.
And it's crazy because right now on social media, the rates at which teenagers are committing suicide, are getting into drugs because of a relationship. And you're thinking, you're 30, you're 15 years.
What are you doing?
What do you mean? You don't even know who you are. You don't even know. I partly blame it on society and social media,
And the
digital
pressure.
media,
Yes,
digital media and peer pressure. A
And
lot of
peer
it comes also
pressure.
from peer pressure.
Yes.
But now you watch movies and you're watching a movie whereby somebody, especially Telemundo, they have those series where the false narrative that they met, they started when they were young, they were in the same neighborhood, they were going to the same school, and their parents knew each other, and then they got into high school, and then the likeness, and then there was another girl who came and tried to ruin the relationship. And there is this facade that is going on, and then love wins. Love wins, And here's the thing, the thing about love is that people actually confuse what love really is, because I love this statement that says the heart of a man is deceitful. What people think love is actually, for them, is infatuation. Yes. But they interpret it as love. I love this guy so much I cannot live without him. I love this guy, we've dated since we were in primary. What? So you have this thing of, and you're looking at a 13, 15-year-old going through depression because a boyfriend in the other class dated another girl from the basketball team, and what in the world? You're not even, you get it? We need to do better. We really need to do better, even as a society, even as, mentors and mentees, and because we never stop learning. And why
girl I know, and her story for me, she's a friend, is quite touching. She got out of campus, which is not to say some relationships actually work. Yes,
they work.
And I'm for that. Like,
thank you.
What works for everyone should work for them.
Thank you. Find your rhythm.
But my question is, what do I know at 23? Really, I'm still just discovering myself. So, as I was telling you the story, this lady gets into this relationship. She has not dated anyone. She has not known any man. Before you know, the child comes, which is a totally changes your life completely, like from
0 to 100.
And then later in life, the marriage doesn't work out, and she's thinking, where do I start from? I've lost out on time for career. I've lost out on time to have made so many opportunities and done certain things to better my life, and I'm here stuck with a child, and I have wasted all these 10 years.
Yeah, especially if you're with a partner that is not supportive.
Yes.
It goes at Ramla, just before you go, like, I feel like we're saying, you find your rhythm, because the honest truth is, for some people it works. I know of a couple from high school that they're just getting married, but they've been a couple since high school, since we were in senior 5. I went to Uganda for my A-level, and then because in Kenya we only have O-level, then you go to campus. So in A-level, there was the two guys that, a lady and a guy that started dating. They're now getting married. They didn't rush straight into marriage, but that's one of the few cases of people that actually do work. But what I appreciate about them is that they didn't let go of their career paths, because he pursued his career while they were together. She pursued her career. They both have their independent careers, and they made it work. But if you're in a place whereby you feel or you feel that you're not emotionally ready for it, give yourself time.
I think we need to prepare children early enough to know the different stages and the different types of love and emotions and what to expect, such that when a 13-year-old's hormones are all over the place, they don't assume
there's like a boy running to them. You just want to whisper to them, and you tell them he's lying to you.
Or the movies they watch, just to be clear, and also make time to see what our kids are into. Just let them know that is not love. And then, educate ourselves. The truth is, we assume we know what love is. But there's ways that, how you say, different people have different love languages. Get to understand and know what healthy love is.
Healthy love, healthy relationships.
such that when boys get into situations where they're in their early teens or their early 20s and they've met this girl and over heels, I've met this boy, I'm head over heels in love, that what is he doing to me and what does it mean? Am I putting myself in a situation where it's going to end in tears?
Yeah.
And ending in tears is different things. People end in tears where heartbreak, then you bounce out of it. Some people take their lives because I was in love
and I don't see life without this person.
Or they become very jaded in life where even if good people come your way, you can't see them. So we just need to be more mindful. Love, and at what stage you can't be. Yes, some 13-year-olds. At 13, what do you know about love? So what should people look out for? And if it's okay, and again, like we've said, you'll be in your 20s and you'll meet a nice person, and it will work for life
perfectly.
So it's not about just look out for what is healthy, what is
for you,
good, and what is good for me.
Discover what works for you.
Will tell you how our relationship is working. You'll be dating someone who has a different language and expect the same outcome. You're disappointed, and it's not. The other person is not in wrong. It's you.
It's you. Yeah.
And
so
maybe
if you're in
also,
your 20s,
to put your your career and all these other things that are important to you as an individual, like look out for them, make them count, make it count in that age bracket. And because there are things that are going to make you fall off, like relationships, and yet you're going to meet other amazing people.
Something I think, and I don't want to forget it, is financials.
Financials in your 20s.
You need to get to know.
Oh my goodness.
How to run, how to be able to be financially independent. Or even if it's just financially okay, where if you get your Kalito money, my first job, or even you're at home,
and it doesn't matter how little it is.
How do I use it? What can I? At what stage can I start to switch my financial mindset on?
Thank you.
Why? Even on your 20s, people talk about, I met a guy is giving me a lot of money. But then you sit back and you're like, when you hear these stories, a girl can say, when she equates it, guy's given her like 18 mark. And what's there to show for it? And I'm not saying this is just throwing it out there, but be able to know if I'm to go out for drinks, I can't go because I've been invited by X. I need to be able to cater for my bill. Irrespective, whatever I order on the bill, I should be able to pay for it. And going out based on someone else's pocket.
Thank you.
Even if
yes, definitely.
So girls grow up knowing, and then again, it also helps boys, whereby a girl doesn't. We stop that conversation where this girl likes me for my money. If this conversation starts very, very early, girls will come up where they also know the value of money and how to value themselves outside this money. So for me, finances as a woman, as a girl, early 20s, start thinking of that stuff. All that stuff you should know and start early.
And the good thing about, by the way, let me tell you, the good thing about money, especially in your early 20s, is that you will not easily be swayed by a wrong person,
or find yourself in
a situation whereby you feel, when you don't have money and a guy shows up and he is showing you the world, and it doesn't have to be a lot of, you don't even have to be earning
the money.
You don't even have to be earning a lot of money. Even if you're earning $100 a month, it's your money. If you're earning $50, if you're earning $200, if you're earning $1,000, it is your money. And the fact that you have that security, a guy is not going to come around and throws money at you and immediately you get swayed in, because at the end of the day, oh my gosh, finally, someone who can pay my bills. You're going to make your decision to be with this person based on that. And before you know it, it becomes a toxic relationship. It becomes violent. It becomes, and this goes both ways, by the way, for both guys and women. So as a guy, there's certain expectations of you. So in your 20s, you have to make sure that your career is headed somewhere so that by the time you get to your 30s and 40s, you're well grounded. And if you're in your 20s and you meet somebody and the both of you are trying to figure things out, you can figure them out together. But at least there is mutual contribution from both ends. You know, you're both switched on, and you know that one of the best things that I really appreciate is that I got to have a job immediately after I left campus. So as much as I reached at a point in my life where I was like, I really need I feel like I'm ready for a relationship. I think I should have somebody, what. My decision wasn't based on the fact that I need someone to come pay my bills. You know, it was based on the fact that I felt the need to have, companionship, you know. And then money comes as a bonus, by the way. It comes as a bonus. So with or without this person, you're somehow grounded. You're proud of your $50, you're proud of your $30, but at the end of the day, you have money to buy your pads, you have money to buy a handkerchief, you will not sleep in the street. At least you have something.
And I think even
you want to be stuck with someone.
Something women don't maybe sometimes women don't understand is men appreciate when a woman just makes that effort, that little effort. To just, and if you find a man who's willing to look after you, that little effort shows that you're not trying to take advantage. And sometimes you don't have to, but again, even on your side, you should be able to not have that be the precedent of how you start dating a guy. Bill comes, settle. I mean, offer to settle half of it. I'm not saying pay the whole thing, but you should have an inclination. And I know we have a lot of that stuff. Or whoever asks for the date pays the bill. Yeah, yes and no. So what are the chances? Because it's more things like I could come and honestly, that guy forgets his wallet at home. And you've come on vibes.
Honestly, he has actually forgotten his wallet. And so will you now start peeling potatoes in the restaurant because none of you can pay the bill?
Things like, do your groundwork. You know, so you know how we actually, and as ladies, we also propose where we should go on some of these.
Right.
I've not done any homework. Because Teresa said, or Julie said, there's a happening place. Let's go to that.
Let's go to that. Some even come with their 3 friends. 3 friends.
Can we talk about it? Like, you can't be serious. Like, I understand the security bit whereby you are...
You're looking out for that.
Yeah, you're looking out for yourself. But if you have issues with security, go during the day. You don't have to go on a date in the evening if you're not sure about the security that this person offers. Don't go don't go at night. And if possible, you don't have to get into his car. You can tell him, you know what, let's meet at that particular point. If you have your reservations, your personal reservations. If you're a person who feel, no, this person might kidnap me, I don't want to, you know what, let's meet at this particular hotel. I'll be dressed up, I'll be dolled up, and I'll have my money just in case.
Did you see that there was something that went viral where some girls came, I think about 5 or 6 girls went. Yes.
Oh yeah. And then the gentlemen,
they had to give it their iPhones to pay.
Can you imagine? Very embarrassing. Like, you know, so those are some of the mistakes that you need to look out for, especially, and that happens a lot in your 20s, because in your 30s you've already figured yourself out. There's no way you're going to show up on a date for, you know, plus with your other 6 friends. There's no way you're going to date someone when you're in a place whereby you can't even buy as much as pads for yourself, you know. So in our 20s, that's when we tend to make such mistakes,
and then also worry too much about what everyone around
you thinks. Public opinion.
You judge. If I put on this dress, what if Jerry doesn't like it?
What will they say?
What will Jerry say?
Is it the trend?
And the funny thing is, why I think this is very paramount is we end up losing a lot of our identity trying to prove
please
or trying to
prove a
everyone
point
around you. Teresa wants you a certain way, so you chip off at yourself, chip off a little bit of yourself to
what will people say?
I go to Judy, I'm like, okay, what does she like? She didn't really like when I say this, so you chip off yourself. Then you go to you like a guy, you meet his family. Then you hear about maybe his ex used to do ABCD. You're like, ha! Even when you need to stand up for yourself, you second guess almost everything you do. So you get to a 30-year-old who doesn't identify or who cannot. You look in the mirror, and I think many people don't want to have this conversation, but you sometimes look in the mirror and you're like, who is this? Why? Because over the years you've had to chip yourself a little bit of yourself away. However, it's not a bad thing. I think it's two sides of a coin. Sometimes when you're younger, there's elements about you that you need to grow away from. Or because of the way life throws hardness at you, you end up having to switch to fit. But for me, why I think that's a bit detrimental is you lose so much of who you are intended to be because you have tried to adjust yourself to what the world expects of you.
That's true.
And then you're such a miserable person. You sit back at home when you're in your 4 rooms in your room, even if you're a mom, even if you're single, you sit back and even after a day out or a night out, you're miserable.
Very.
Because you've put up a show. You've gone out there and put up a show of a person you're not. But why? That's what the world expects.
That's what the world expects.
It's why I really respect girls nowadays. And there's, elements, of course, there's pros and cons. But I love that women now are learning to know who they are, what I am, what do I love, what don't I love. Even if it comes to sexuality, even if it comes to things like my body, my rules. Even if society does not want me to use contraceptives, right now I'm a woman, I'm sexually active. This is what I need to do to prepare myself so I don't make mistakes. But you get to a place where you're thinking, you go to a family planning center, for example. I'm getting full circle. Family planning center, and then you get there, you're like, I want to get I'm sexually active, so I want to know what methods I can get into. Oh, what are you doing getting into this? Are you married? Do you have a boyfriend? Then they start telling you all these things. You're so young. Why are you getting into family planning? Family planning does all these A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z bad things. And you're thinking, I'm trying to protect myself.
Yeah.
So is it better for me to get an early pregnancy or get into all these other ways that can make my life worse? Please don't take early pregnancy doesn't make your life worse. I'm just saying there's ways we need to prepare girls, we need to prepare boys. And I think we made a mistake. When we were growing up, there was a lot of boys being told on how to use protection and all this child. It became about the man, but no one was paying attention to the woman.
Sorry to cut you short. There is also this thing where they were raising girls in a way that how you should treat a man. But who was talking to the guy?
No one was talking to the boys on how to treat a woman.
On how to treat the guy.
Those are mistakes that you wish the next generation, or you wish younger girls.
I would have had someone in my early 20s tell me, you know. Because those are mistakes. And you know, while you're talking about it, and it comes to, you know, exploring. We were saying, you know, opinions of, I'm just going to take you back. When you're in your 20s, you worry so much about people's opinions and what will people say. So, and then there's this whole thing in today's generation where we have trends. So let's say the trend now in campus, or the trend for people, young adults, is having threesomes. The trend is exploring your sexuality and using objects and sex objects and all. That's the trend. And then you get into it and you get messed up. The trend is, you know, using P2 contraceptives and what. And instead of getting to learn, have an understanding of the pros and cons of your actions. By the way, I usually tell people the best contraception is just close your legs. But if you can't close your legs, educate yourself. Get to know, okay, I have made the decision to be sexually active. I have opened up myself to a whole can of worms. anything can happen.
Yes.
So educate yourself, get to know the pros, get to know the cons. By the time you're making your mistakes, or by the time you're making certain actions and decisions, it's gonna be on you. Yes, and those are the things that happen in your 20s. Like when something is the trend, if the trend is wearing red clothes, hey, if Beyonce shows up in a red suit, that is the trend. And if you don't wear it, people are just you're not going to fit in. Like you have to learn to be your own person in your 20s, regardless of what the trend is.
Sorry to cut you short. The other thing is that taking you back to what people will say is that anyway, people will always say.
Regardless.
Yes. So you're better off knowing what you're comfortable with, because as you're dressed, someone could look at that as being indecent. You get sorry.
And someone else.
Yes. And then someone would find it stylish according to someone's background.
Perception.
So much. But as a person, you need to know who you are, what you stand for, your values, and what you're comfortable with. Because people will talk anyway.
They talked about the Messiah, the holiest of all holy people. And they talked about him and they killed him for that matter. Who are you? They will talk about you. They will talk about you. Have to develop a thick skin and stand for your principles, regardless of what those principles are. People will talk. Potatoes will potat, life will move on.
There's a statement I saw, and someone was saying that even if you laid down for people to walk on you, they'll complain
that you're not soft enough.
Yes, you get. So it's better you do what makes you happy as a person and comfortable.
Yeah, and that relates to the next thing, the next mistake that we wanted to talk about, allowing yourself to be influenced by society. Right now, the thing, you look at her, she's well carved. She's Miss Booty. And the thing that is going around there is that, the thick is the new black. You have to, the influencers around there are curving their lips, they are putting on fillers, and like if you don't have a self-esteem, you'll get taken up by it. I am not her, she is not me. If I allow society to dictate for me, I'll go and put on, what do they call them, boob fillers, breast fillers, bum fillers, and the next thing you know.
And that's the sad part though, like you say, Teresa, it's always a trend, or there's always a trend. There was a time when skinny was in, where every woman was, starving herself, or, wearing West trainers.
You've gained weight. You look too fat.
Lose it. Insult, and now it's, oh man, you put on weight and you're like, so now. But again, to what extent? There's a it's a psycho therapist called Jordan Peterson, who says it's so sad that we've become our own worst enemies. Women judge women most.
Big time.
Definitely.
Talk about it.
We judge each other on a daily basis. But again, even women, we have let society dictate what's beautiful, what's not. They've
set the standard.
The fashion industry always has. But then we need to be able to raise a generation that is okay
being who they
we
are.
Come from different ethnic groups or tribes, and each tribe has its different
structure
that makes it who they are. The Raganda, then the people with the hips. So if I'm a melting pot of all, I could be Hukum.
Of course. Yes.
But then it comes down to the girls we're raising. Are they okay being? If I'm skinny, man, this is who I am. If I'm thick,
if I'm dark skin, if I'm light skin,
it's not the trend that everyone likes. I am beautiful.
Just the way you are.
Just the way I am. It's how big lips weren't a thing. Having big lips wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a thing. Now, every Hollywood star.
People, and that's the thing. again, it comes down to there will be a trend.
Another trend.
It will come and go. It will come and go.
If it works for your self-esteem, I'm not saying people shouldn't do what makes
No.
them happy. But I'm saying
Do it.
So if the trend comes and it's a big area here, then you do it.
Then the trend gets done.
Then what happens to you?
Yeah.
So you jump onto the next thing. By the time it ends, who are you?
Who are you? You don't even know who you are. You don't even recognize yourself.
So it's us. It's us. We need to do some self-reflection and do it on a daily. Because we all, as women, we all know. We beat ourselves up on a daily basis.
All the time.
No one has to remind you of a big nose. You don't have that thing every morning. You're like, but you know this. You came this guy. He's like, I think we've all got this story.
Yeah.
His nose was like this.
I think it should have been slimmer. I think my forehead is too big. I don't know. I need to, Yeah, me and you both. But those are my genetics. I am a Kikuyu from Kikuyu land. We are highly known to have terrible hairlines and big foreheads, but we are beautiful regardless. Like we are the most beautiful. We are one of the most beautiful women in our country. Yeah. So now I am going to go and look at Judith, or I look at somebody else, and because their hair is here,
then you wonder
you start a plane will land on it and just land safely.
What are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it? So you have to appreciate who you are. And I think the other thing is fearing rejection.
Yeah.
In your 20s, there's a lot of fear that comes with being rejected, and rejected at your workplace, rejected in your relationships, rejected by families, rejected by society. And that is why people, there's a lot of depression going around because of the fear of rejection.
Rejection comes in a different way because, and sometimes it's according to how you're going to meet people and they feel a certain way in a certain time. In that moment, probably someone pissed them off and they are not going to give you the attention.
Of course.
So you feel rejected. My friend, heal. You have to be so full of yourself that even you cannot put yourself down. You feel you are enough. Enough that your mood and your happiness does not depend on someone's mood. Because Triza rejected me. I think
today she was behaving.
Is it me?
Is it me? What's wrong? What did I do?
Definitely, people's attitudes will to some extent definitely affect your environment. But then that's where she's talking about you have to be so full of yourself that you need to learn how to move on real quick
and ignore in that moment. Ignore. You are not there.
It's still speaking on that, and then also knowing as women when your glass is empty and you can't pour it,
and your social battery is
so
10%.
Whoever's coming in who needs to be filled, you need to know when you need to fill your own glass. And be like, guys, I am depleted. So you can't pour from an empty glass, can you?
You can.
You need to know where you cross. You just say that's what the boundary, and that you can't cross that boundary. And then having boundaries, I think early enough.
Yes.
And have boundaries in your early 20s. Especially that boundary bit. In your 20s, you're not thinking of setting boundaries really.
But
you wish you had. Then you wish you had later on in life.
You wouldn't have lost out on some good relationships. On family.
And I think finally, one last thing that we need to talk about, the mistakes that we make in our 20s, is that we let go very quick. We don't put in effort. For example, you have this friend of yours, you've gotten an altercation, you cut them off. There's this culture of cutting people off. Cut toxic people. Like, I said this, she said that she doesn't agree with me, cut you off. and you
don't talk
there's this
out
cancel
things.
culture.
Yeah.
People,
Cancel culture.
communication has become very foreign.
Yes.
Why don't you have, if this person is really your friend, why don't you
yes.
sit down and have a conversation and
Yes.
say, you know what, Ramla, what you did yesterday really hurt me. It wasn't cool. I wish we would have, you would have told me in a better way. What, express yourself. If the person decides that
they are not willing to listen to you,
then you would have done your part. You at least try to be the bigger person. But nowadays, any small thing
blocked.
Like, it has become, and I understand whereby you have to cut people off in terms of if it's toxic and it gets to a point where it's really, really not working for you. That I understand. But when it comes to
call your friends,
if these are your friends, these are your colleagues, these are your workmates, one thing that I've learned,
unless
Ramla,
you have reached out.
And exactly.
You tried to reach out.
The person you're cutting off today might be the person seated on the panel of judges tomorrow, and you need them to sign you off.
And I think exactly what you said. And sometimes the weird part is after, if you have a fight with a friend or whoever means something to you, in that moment you're heated. You think everything.
I don't need them.
Is justified. I don't need them.
I will never talk to them.
You gave yourself time.
Thank
to
you.
say, if we had a conversation, let me hear Teresa out, let me hear Julie out. You could find, for example, we can fight over silly things like, I tried calling you as in an emergency, you did not pick up, you're supposed to be my person, how dare you not be there for me? So I end up judging you so harshly based on the situation because I needed you. I might not know. Your mom might be sick and you're going through your own stuff.
Thank you.
But because I needed you, I don't want to hear what you have to say.
I saw a meme during that while we were just getting out of the COVID phase. And there was this meme that was going around. If they didn't check on you during COVID, they shouldn't be in your life. If they never, if they didn't call you, if they didn't, during your worst moments. But did you take the moment to actually, what initiative did you take? This was a pandemic that everyone went through.
No one knew how
and
to go through it.
And no one knew how to go through it. Or maybe just a circumstance that comes and for some reason you need, and you're in an emergency and you call Teresa expecting Teresa to come through and she's not in a position to help you, and immediately you rule out she's not a friend. But what if in that moment Teresa had an emergency? What if in that moment Judith had experienced something tragic? You didn't even ask. If they tell you I'm not in a position to, and you don't even try to find out, or you're not understanding where they're coming from, and immediately you are not there for me, cut you off. Like, it's such a bad, terrible habit.
And I used to say that there are people who think they have monopoly over anger. That when you annoy them in that moment, they will show you they are more annoyed
than you
are, block you and not talk out things. Who taught us that?
And you see, I would call it, thank you, I would call it burning bridges. Try not to burn bridges in your 20s because life is a cycle. There is nothing new under the sun. If you burn bridges, you will need that bridge in 1, 2, 3 years,
and you will be humble.
I think very key.
Life will humble you.
Very key that people are not taking into consideration now is people assume money can get you everywhere, but people forget that your social capital is more important than money to some extent. The doors that can get opened to you through the people you know, sometimes money won't be a problem. That's why the thing you're saying about burning bridges is very important. You don't know who's supposed to be the next opportunity for you. So don't leave people with a sour taste in their mouths of you. And even if you do, because we make mistakes. Being young, being young is such you're so foolish. You think everyone owes you, the world owes you. You think you're the best thing that ever happened, you're the best thing after sliced bread. We make mistakes. But when you realize you made a mistake, what can I do to make things better? Because PG, okay.
You'll mess up.
You will mess up. You will mess up in life. But dust yourself off. no, I messed up. Try and mend the bridges that you've messed up. Because nothing sucks more than regret of I wish I had. Had I not. If only. And if you have a chance, the people that you need to make amends with are still there.
Yeah.
Why not? What do you have to lose?
Yeah. Wow. So much to say, so little time. Yeah, I think really we've tried to get into the ins of it. And for if you're out there and you're in your 20s and you're wondering, oh my gosh, you're in a space that you feel, that you need direction, you're not yet there. You're trying to just figure your life out. Give yourself time.
Yeah.
It's okay to give yourself time. Give yourself time. Don't put yourself on unnecessary pressure, by the way. Don't. Let it, in fact, leave it.
Yeah.
Explore as much as you can. It's okay. Find yourself.
Yeah.
Find yourself. Find what makes you happy. Stick to it. Be very intentional. Be very efficient in whatever it is that you choose to go with. And remember, I love this quote from a very popular gentleman. God has the tendency of putting your breakthrough on someone who you least like.
All the time.
All the time. The person you don't like is the person you need for a particular season or a particular time and place.
Yes.
So if you're in your 20s, try as much as possible not to burn bridges. You can, it's okay to cut people off, but don't burn the bridges because sometimes people are toxic. Yeah, but try as much as possible. Don't burn bridges. You can take some time alone, take some time to yourself, but don't burn bridges. You will need them. Yeah.
My take home is reflect. While in your 20s, if you have made a mistake, how are you coming out of it? Have a meeting with yourself. It's important to self-reflect. Yeah.
Very short. You won't have it together. Sometimes even when you get to your 30s, and it is okay. There's no script in life. What works for one person won't work for you. But just every day, I think maybe this one thing we don't even take time to realize is every day is a blank slate, guys. Every day is a blank slate for you to try and do more, be more. And if you're still here, you still have a chance. So use it.
Thank you, Ramla. Thank you so much, guys. This was very much needed. Definitely, I've been wanting to talk about them. Like, I made so many mistakes, but I equally learned from them. So I believe that we'll have this and much more. We'll bring in some gentlemen to also give us their perspective on, some mistakes they did in their 20s that they would, for us, we're speaking from a female perspective. But yeah, definitely glad to have you on the show. Glad to have Madame Thick by my side. I need both my wings to fly. So today I had Ramla and Judy with the booty. And we are rocking all the way. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Please subscribe to our channel, Thick and Slim, on all our social media pages. I'm Triza K.
Judith Xemera.
All day, every day. Peace. Till next time.